What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. As I'm sure you've seen, the title of today's video is what are the pros and the cons of the Houston Rockets trading for Russell Westbrook. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and we'll start off with the pros. The first being that it will mark the addition of a multiple-time All-Star and former MVP alongside James Harden. This could be the first time in his career that he has had an All-Star on the roster at the same time as him. Now with Westbrook, there might be some doubts about what his true value is, or just how good he is right now, especially after the season he had last year, where we saw some various declines in his game. But in spite of this, one thing is still for sure, that you are getting all-star level production out of him, and along with it, you'll be getting tenacity, effort, and crazy raw athleticism. Now, whilst there has been a decline in his game, this decline is not as steep as the one we have seen from CP3 during his tenure with Houston, and as of right now, Russ is a definite upgrade. Another area he will help Houston is that he can change the pace of a game very quickly. The Rockets have struggled to keep up with teams like the Warriors, who have a ton of energy and firepower and can change the momentum of a game almost in an instant. Russ and his high intensity and energy big play driven style of game is the perfect counteract for this, especially come playoff time. Now, a massive area he will really help Houston out is rebounding. Now, I do have a slight issue with this, as I've done a video in the past explaining how Russell does like to engineer his triple-doubles. And what this means is that at times he will chase stats, even at cost to his own team. However, whether you like his methods or not, what you can't argue with is that he is a good rebounder, especially as a guard. Stat padding or not, he can rebound the ball, and this is something that Houston have severely lacked. For example, their top rebounder last season was Clint Capella, who averaged 12.7 boards a game. Next up from that was Kenneth Faried with 8.2, and this was coming from a bench player. So Westbrook would slot right in between the two with 11.1, and that's from the guard position, but more importantly, from a starter. It doesn't end there either. Westbrook averaged a whopping 9.6 defensive rebounds a game, which would be almost 1.2 rebounds a game clear of the next nearest player on Houston's roster. Rebounding has been a key issue for the Rockets, particularly in the playoffs, as time and again they have failed to stop other teams getting extra possessions. Now, whilst I do believe Russ and his rebounding statistics were slightly inflated by players such as Steven Adams, boxing out and giving up their rebounds for him at times, there is no doubt that the impact will still be there for Houston. Now, there are some negatives that come with Russ at the moment, and that puts these things into question, so let's also examine those. First of all, there is his obvious shooting woes. Russ has not shot well in his career as a whole, but more notably have been the last few seasons. Last season, for example, Westbrook shot a worrying 29% from 3, and this was while still managing to jack up 5.6 attempts per game. He only managed just under 43% from the field, and this was whilst taking a staggering 20 shots a game. So it's not just low percentages, but he continues to take high amount of shots to go along with this. Worse than all of this might be his free throw percentage, which for the second straight season has dropped, and this time to a career low 65.6%. This is very worrying from someone that will be expected to have big impacts on both ends of the floor, especially with the money that is due to him. And with that comes our second issue, and that is his contract. Russ' contract is heavily backloaded. By the time he is 34, He is owed $47 million for that season. This is a huge amount for someone who relies heavily on their athleticism and will likely be on the downward side of their career by that point. This is not to count him out, but the older he gets, it's more likely he becomes less athletic and the team will have to pay him more money to go along with this. Now the final question that arises is how will the partnership with James Harden work? And this is something that I guess only time will tell. Having two guys with the highest usage ratings in the NBA over the past few seasons could prove to be both testing and straining for players and the organization alike. However, last season Russ had no problem deferring to Paul George, especially in crunch time, and in fact was often the guy that was setting him up and assisting him on these plays. So I can't see why he wouldn't be willing to do the exact same for his friend James Harden. So guys, let me know what you think about the Rockets' new pairing of Russ and Harden below, and always feel free to share your opinion because that's what this channel is about. Thank you as always for the love and support, and I hope you guys have a lovely day.